Good morning, everyone. For those that are watching, this video is going to be short, but it is hopefully going to encourage some people that are dealing with what I consider the psychotic behavior or behavior from people that are toxic. Um, I feel like every single person goes through this at least once in their lifetime, and depending on who that person is, it can be hard. I've had to eliminate people that were supposed to be family out of my life. And it was not an easy decision to make, but it was one that was absolutely necessary for my well being. A couple of years ago, I used to be the kind that I really struggled with, when do you stop? And when is enough enough? When do you draw that line? And it wasn't necessarily for their benefit, though. It was more or less because, like my biological father, his health was failing, and I stayed and I put up with a lot more than I probably should have ever had to put up with. But I did it mainly because nobody else wanted to help. Nobody else, that was close enough to help acted like they didn't even care. Despite me telling them numerous times how bad it was, and, basically crying and pleading that they help, because I didn't know how much longer I could do this, because I was literally on my own. And, it was hard. I felt betrayed. I felt abandoned. I felt like, here I am trying to keep the family together, trying to patch things over. Like, I was, I was always that one to do everything I could to try to make sure that we all stay, a family. And then just, if you're the only one willing to get in the ring and fight for it, it's not going to work out. And that's literally what it was. And it's just, like I said, it was hard, but, and it's by no means a judgment on them. It's just apparently I don't know how you put it. It's not a judgment. It's just fact. I have one sibling. I haven't talked to this one in a year. Almost a year. I had to stop talking to her because she was always very big on drama. She was, she's one of those, every time you call her, or at least, 8 out of 10 times when you talk to her, she's very, very upset, to the point that it's almost impossible to talk to her. And it could be for a variety of reasons. And, it just kind of got to the point where it was like, I didn't even want to talk to her a lot of times, because not because of her as a person, but because of her personality. It's very draining dealing with somebody that's, so negative all the time. It's almost like they're toxic for you. And, she absolutely was, and she still is. She's tried to reach out a couple of times, but every time when I make it, my thing is, I've made it crystal clear both times that, I'm not ready to even entertain establishing some kind of a friendship or, relationship at this point. I have a lot of things that I've had to work on this past year and a half almost. And I am at a really, really good place in my life. I've spent the better part of 20 years really, really struggling with my self-worth, my identity, depression. I've had a lot I've dealt with, as far as inner battles and inner demons. And I can finally look in the mirror and I love the woman that I see. I I'm in love. I'm happy. I have my child back. I went 5 years without any contact with her. Basically, that was self-imposed because I just, I didn't want her to see me in a really messed up state of mind. And it's not a decision that I regret. There's a lot of things that I miss, but my role as her mother is to do what's best for her, even if it hurts. And I've done that several times. And, some of the best decisions I've made for my daughter were also some of the hardest. But, if I had to go back and do it again, I would still make those choices. But like I said, when that would happen, she would go back to the same attitudes that I had dealt with before. Classic example, she likes to hide behind the fact that she has family members, or at least one that supposedly is a cop. And, here's my thing about cops in general, period. I don't have a problem with cops. I actually have a lot of respect for cops. But at the same time, I don't care how cops. That doesn't change a thing, and that doesn't intimidate me. I might not have cops that are family members, but my husband is friends with the chief of police here in Winfield. Doesn't make me any more special than the next person. Cops are humans. They have jobs to do. But to sit there and, like I said, it was just, when people act that way, it is just kind of one of those things where it makes me sit there and be like, you do realize by acting this way, you are proving that I was right and cutting you off and not allowing you to come back into my life until I'm ready. And I was proven again yesterday. I have a ex from a little over 2 years ago, if not a little bit longer, that he has like 6 profiles on Facebook, all of which I had blocked. And then it popped up about, I want to say a couple months ago, that he had made another one. So I turned around and I blocked him. And then right after my sister had made a fake Facebook profile using her birth name, I turned around and I had blocked all the profiles of his children and everything else. And the only reason why I did that is because this man is very, I don't even know the word for him. He's got a lot of issues that he hasn't dealt with. And when I was with him, and this is based off of personal experience, he was very, very verbally abusive. He's very racist. He is one of those that believes a woman's place is in the kitchen, and he's extremely lazy. He expects everybody to wait on hand and foot. There was a lot of drama. He would, leave me at the house for days, and, he would want alone time, but God forbid I even wanted to go to the gas station, which was like maybe 3 miles up the road by myself in my own vehicle. Then it would always get twisted. And he would say things like, oh, well, if you hate my kids, or why do you want to be alone? You must be up to something. And it's like, really, dude? There is 11 people, including myself, on top of God knows how many animals that he would take home. And, yet I'm the one doing all the work to maintain the house. When I first came and lived with them the second time, because the first time we were together, I can't remember exactly how long we were together. But he broke up with me, and the first time I was upset, and because I had, I love kids, and um, I had gotten attached to his kids. And then the second time we had gotten together, it was one of those his cousins would call wanting rides to the store and stuff. And I felt bad for him. So, I would. And then we started talking again. And when we broke up the second time, I stayed there for about a month um, because I didn't want to like have to go back home to my dad and everything else. And after a month of it, I left. I literally packed up my stuff, had my dad come and get me, um, and I left. And I've never looked back. And it's a decision that I feel is probably one of the best things that I could have ever done because it was one of those situations where I had to pick. Was I going to keep staying there and, you know, become absolutely miserable to the point that I give up on life? Or do I, for once, choose myself? And, you can call it selfish, call it what you want. I picked me. And, you know, 3 days ago, he posts, and why, I mean, why, I don't know, because this, like I said, this is one of those things where it's like, grow up. He posted 3 days ago a really nasty comment about me and tried to, basically play the victim and was like, oh, I don't know what I saw in you. And I'm not surprised that it didn't bother me. I'm not surprised that it didn't upset me. If anything, I kind of thought it was hysterical because, of the fact, like I said, it's been 2 years and I've had at least a year and a half of no contact with him. Like, I haven't even thought twice about him. I've literally, I have other things that I think about. I have other things to do during the day. So an ex from 2 years ago is definitely not on my list of priorities of people to think about. And it's just like I said, it's funny to me. It is absolutely funny to me. And I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh well, I hate him. I hate him. I don't hate him. I don't hate, my siblings. I don't hate anybody. Um, if anything, I'm thankful because had they have not been so horrible to me, I wouldn't be able to appreciate my life that I have now on the level that I do. And, um, I guess my thing, as far as encouraging people, my thing would be, I'm not saying that you have to enjoy the situation and you definitely don't have to be happy about what, that person put you through. But, I would definitely encourage you to try to look at it from that viewpoint. Had they have never been that bad to you, you wouldn't appreciate the good things that happen to you because you can't appreciate being up without being down. And the only other thing I would say in regards to him is simply this: it's been 2 years, and you really don't want me to go there about everything I know about you and your family and all the things that I saw that happened within the wall, the house and everything else. You really don't want me to. So, that being said, you know who you are. Do not step foot anywhere on my property. Do not step foot anywhere near me. And if you just so happen to see me in public, your best bet is just walk on by and act like you never knew me because I promise you, that's exactly how I feel about you.